Just days before kids are headed back to school, the CDC is releasing new COVID-19 guidelines. These new guidelines include no required quarantine after close contact with an exposed person. Our Marissa Sines breaks down the new guidelines for us tonight.
It's the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic began that guidance from top health experts are relaxing.
And the CDC actually acknowledged that in their statement. They said that they realize that there's a lot of fatigue around some of these guidelines.
The CDC saying we're in a different place than we were 2.5 years ago. It's estimated that 95% of Americans 16 years or older have some form of immunity, either from vaccination or infection.
That's why there are new guidelines. Now, there's no need to quarantine if you've been exposed to somebody who has COVID-19. They've also dropped a social distancing rule. There's no daily testing required and a new mask recommendation, only for certain people in certain places.
I think the CDC is trying to push people to realize that this is here to stay, and we're going to have to find better ways of dealing with it.
Even as COVID-19 cases nationwide come down from a peak, data released by the CDC Thursday shows that Cuyahoga and Lorain counties still remain at a marked high community level.
I hope that part of what comes out of this is that local school districts and local departments of health feel more empowered to just do what they need to do locally.
Bells are set to ring in Northeast Ohio school districts in just a few weeks, if not days for some. Dr. Amy Edwards with University Hospitals wants to remind students, parents, and teachers that while these new guidelines become more familiar to life as we knew it, districts should still authorize what's right inside their hallways.
I don't necessarily expect them to go back to quarantining, particularly with children, because quarantining can be so detrimental to their schooling. Now, I want to be clear, just because you're no longer required to quarantine doesn't mean that the school can't still make rules about you not going to school with a fever.
Marissa Sines, 3 News.